that seems to be where we're stuck at, I guess, right now as a country. We know we're living in this purgatory. We're not quite sure where we're headed because the federal government, frankly, is kind of wobbly. Do we want to focus on testing? They act paralyzed at times. And so all local leaders are left to do the best that they can and respond to the public as best as they can.
Scattered individual decisions about what is best for their local economies and for their constituents and for their residents and what to do. And it is very frustrating for a lot of people because they don't have a good idea of when things are going to get back to whatever the new normal is. And what does that new normal look like? Chuck, I mean, it's not terrible to be out here today. It's a beautiful day. It's nice to be in the sun. But this is not what Asbury Park normally looks like on a nice day. The beach is open. There's no statewide mandate that beaches are closed here in New Jersey. So over the weekend, when it was nice, there were people on the beach. They were maintaining a social distance by all accounts. But the boardwalks in New Jersey are all closed. There's 130 miles of beaches. Many of them are lined with boardwalks. And the reason the boardwalks are closed, if you've ever been down the shore during the summer, you know how packed it gets. 30,000 visitors, at least here in Asbury alone, can flood here on a nice day. And it's not just the beach here. I mean, this entire area is now a tourist attraction. There are kids' games, there are arcades, there are new boutique hotels that have popped up. A lot of money has been invested in the revival of this area over the past 5 to 10 years. And there's a really big worry that if they lose out on this season, what's going to happen next? Is that investment still going to come? Are people still going to flock here as they had been? Look at this. This is a stone pony. You know it? If you know Bruce Springsteen, you know the stone pony. We are going to talk to the owner of the stone pony a little bit later about what she expects, or the CEO or the GM, what she expects for this concert venue. They basically have nothing on the schedule right now because they're not sure what's going to happen. My favorite band's lead singer was supposed to be playing here, the Trey Anastasio band, over the summer, but they have had to cancel. It is a big unknown, and it's not just these places that are right on the shore. It's the stores and the shops and the delis and diners that support the shore. I was talking to one local business owner, 60 years in business, about what is going on with his business and what he expects. Here's what he said. How much do you rely on the summer months?
A lot, about 60% of our business, those 3-4 months, from like May until September.
What are you expecting this summer to be like?
No idea. You hear different, some people say the beaches are going to open, some aren't. We have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, so it's Frank's Deli. They've been in business for 60 years. 60% of their business relies on the summer months, and that is the key thing here, Chuck. A lot of these local economies are just waiting. They're waiting for the 3 months of the summer when all of their money is made, or the majority of their money is made. Workers come in from all over the state. Teachers who have regular jobs come in and supplement their incomes here. And right now it is a really big open question about what it is going to look like if they even can reopen eventually. And Phil Murphy has said he's going to have to address the beaches pretty soon because people are asking a lot of questions.
Yeah. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.